Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. If you're interested in supporting the channel, there's many different ways that you can do so. Through subscribing, hitting the thumbs up symbol on the YouTube video, leaving a question or comment. All of that stuff is greatly appreciated. It all helps out the channel and the viewership, so I would greatly appreciate if you would do any of those things. You can book a private reading. All of this information is in the video description in the drop down. This is a broad spectrum reading for all signs. It's like a forecast, sort of like a energy forecast or weather forecast in a way for everyone. It is energy that's out there and available to us all that we share collectively. I speak in broad terms when I speak, so you have to kind of figure out where this best fits in your life and how you might best use it in your day-to-day life. This is for the week of, it's a Sunday reading, so it's for the week of June 6th through the 12th. It's not solely set for that date though. If you're seeing it on a different timeline, at a different date, a different month or year even, it's okay. You might be ready for whatever is in the message in the cards at that time when you're seeing it versus when it was originally created. So keep that in mind as you're watching the video. So each card will represent for a day or two, maybe 3, depending on, how fast or what you're focusing on in your life. So some of you might experience only one of these cards during the week. Some of you might experience all of these cards and then some. There's a lot of flexibility with this. So just use what you need and sort of leave the rest kind of thing. So let's look and see what's going on in the cards. Okay, so for the first card at the beginning of the week, we have 2 of Raphael, which is the 2 of Cups, essentially. Green, I always associate, not only is it Raphael's color, but it's also the color of healing and the heart chakra. It says here, 2 hearts dedicated to creating something wonderful, kindred spirits, don't give up on those you love. So what I like about this is it is about appreciation. Sometimes 2s can be a deepening of the appreciation of ourselves or an understanding of ourselves better emotionally, right? If we're not dealing with an outside source, like say a partner or even a friendship. 2 of Cups it tends to be a bit of a romantic card, right? But for those of you that are involved in a romance of any kind or not focused on a romance of any kind, this could be about the deepening of a friendship or a familial love. This could be the deepening of a love of self or an understanding of self in the early part of this week, where we start to sort of understand how we feel and accept that too. That's also sort of the thing about the 2 of Cups. There's always 2 people sort of staring back at one another, understanding their roles, appreciating one another, sort of self or each like having validation for the other person in the card, right? So when I think about that, I think about how sometimes we need that for ourselves. So if there's some of us that are working on, self-acceptance, this would be a beautiful time to do so because the 2 of Cups would indicate that deepening or becoming stronger, becoming more present or available to you, right? For those of you that are working on relationships with outside people or sources, right? Like let's say family or a good friend or even a partner, a romantic partner. This early part of the week, this early part of the week is a great time to be present in those relationships, understand and see those relationships for what they truly are, appreciating and having gratitude for those relationships and growing those relationships in a way that should be healthy and appreciative and full of love and sort of abundance, right? This is a beautiful card to start off the week. It's not the most like sort of eventful card. It's more about, our emotions and how we feel, but there could be an opportunity for some of you to heal a relationship, right? With somebody that maybe it has given you trouble or not felt very connected. This could be a card of reconnection for some of you, where this week might be the week where you guys come back into each other's sort of hemisphere, or into communication, right, with somebody that you maybe the relationship needed a little bit of healing or reconnection. So look to that for those of you that are in those states of disconnection. This might be the time to kind of bring that back into your space. Let's see what the midweek card is. The midweek card is the Page of Michael. So this is, it's funny because they use the names of the angels. So I believe this is the Page of Swords, correct? Let me make sure. Truthful, perceptive, analytical, and blunt. Yes, it is the Page of Swords. So an exciting new challenge. You have what it takes to succeed. Review contracts or documents very thoroughly. It's interesting that this comes up. I love the blue color of the certainty, right? It's very grounded and centered. Pages are always sort of youthful, optimistic, but there's room for learning. We may not have all of the information. And with the Page of Swords, it's always about kind of doing that last bit of detective work in a way. And when it says here, like, pay attention to contracts, we are in a Mercury retrograde, so that's always a good thing, is to listen very clearly to the communication that is being not only given to us, but also that we are putting out, making sure that people understand us. That would be the investigative nature of this Page of Swords. I would say not only just being careful with our thoughts, but also investigating our thoughts, investigating what we're saying, paying attention to what others are saying to us, repeating things if needed, because there could be, the reason why I say that is these stormy clouds here in the background say to me that we don't necessarily want to create storms where there doesn't need to be any, right? And this snow, there's like snow on the ground that's clearing away. So ideally, how do I want to say this? Like, the long winter should be over in a sense. Like, this could be a week of starting to re-establish connections to things that have been outside of our space, right? With this Two of Cups in the beginning of the week, and then the Page of Swords. The page gives me this feeling of maybe treading a little bit more carefully, being a little bit more precise, being a little bit more honest, but doing so with care, right? Because we see the care in the Two of Cups, but also with the Page, he's not going, yes, there's that word blunt is there, but we have truthful, perceptive, and analytical, right? We also have the fact that he's youthful. So we want to be careful so as to not make a mistake or tread on a situation or another person in a way that was inadvertent or unintended, right? Pages can sometimes have that kind of a possibility to them, right? So when I'm looking at this, I think that there's things to be learned in the midweek, certainly, about maybe what's going on for us. Things may not be super easy, right? That would be the storm clouds and the snow kind of clearing, but it does feel temporary to me. It does feel like it's an opportunity to sort of expand and learn. It's an opportunity to sort of sit in our truth and hold on to that truth. It's an opportunity to kind of build upon that truth, whatever that truth may be. Pages also sometimes bring messages with them. So there could be some new awareness or some new ways of thinking or new ways of perceiving things that may be a little bit more honest to our situation at this time, and we may have to adapt to them or grow within them and learn from them, right? That could be, for some of you, surrounding this relationship that could potentially be reconnecting or deepening in the early part of the week, whether that's with ourselves or with somebody outside of ourselves, right? But the Page of Swords gives us the opportunity to start to reconfigure our thinking or our thoughts around whatever these changes are. Remember, in the week previous, we ended off with that Death card. So some of this could be the renewal and the transformation, like sort of the leftover stages of the transformation of whatever that death card represented, especially with those new beginnings that we saw in the week previous with all of those swords, not swords, but those ace cards. We had the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, there might be, this is sort of us establishing not only emotionally, but also sort of mentally a new path, and the work that's involved in doing that, the investigation and the sort of steps that are taken to get us moving in the right direction. This might be the week where we start to really set about that plan, both emotionally and mentally. So, and then the last card is the Nine of Raphael, which is make a wish, dreams become reality, a joyful time of life. So not mad at this card as the week's end, because this is the Nine of Cups. Again, we have that heart green healing color, right, that's associated with Raphael. The Nine of Cups is about kind of having everything sort of come into order emotionally, things feeling right on the money. When I look at this Nine of Cups, it is a little bit more of the wishes come true sort of aspect of the Nine of Cups, especially with that man holding the genie lamp. If something magically transforms or changes, go with it, take it, appreciate it, be grateful for it, be in gratitude of it, really truly feel it and own it. By the week's end, it feels like sort of the work is, how do I want to say this? Like the work has been put in, and the reward is ours. It's well worth it. With that page in the middle of the week, there could be some adjustments or growth that is required of us, that as long as we remain open and optimistic, like the page would be, we can learn to teach ourselves or see things from a different perspective so that we can receive the benefits of it, is sort of the message that I'm getting with this Nine of Cups at the end of the week, right? We may shift ourselves mentally, therefore we settle in emotionally into this place of feeling really good, like things are maybe back right in the world. Dreams or opportunities have found their way to us again by week's end, and we are excited about this, right? And we're appreciative of this, and we've sort of done the work to be ready to receive these gifts, right? So to me, when I look at these three cards together, I don't feel like there's going to be a question for us as to whether or not, do I deserve this, or did I do the right thing? No, it feels as though we may feel that in the midweek, but in that Page of Swords, but we learn, we adapt, and through quick thinking and being smart and intelligent and perceptive, we're able to reap the benefits by the end of the week, knowing that we've made the right choices and emotionally feeling sort of right on the money, that like things are good. We did the right thing for the right reasons, or made the right decisions or choices. All of that is there for you. So, and let's look at the Energy Oracle card. This is 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. How beautiful is that? Card number 41, which would be a 5, which would indicate transition, change. So I do think that this is about something changing for us within a relationship, either if that's not to ourselves, it's to another person. Some of you be aware that this relationship could certainly resurface or come back, is the feeling that I'm getting. And we may need to reestablish how we interact in this relationship. That's sort of the Page of Swords energy. How we perceive ourselves within this relationship. That's the transition of the 5 in the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. The 7th chakra is our crown chakra, which is located at the top of our head. Within this chakra is where it's housed our claircognizance, which is the ability to just sort of be still and know, right? To know that truth, to trust that truth, and to move forward in that truth. So I feel like that truth is found in the emotions that we see in the 2 of Cups and in the 9 of Cups. And then that truth is found in the study and the examination that the Page of Swords brings in the midweek. The openness, the open-mindedness, and the willingness to sort of look at things from a different, newer, fresher, even more childlike perspective, to open up opportunities to maybe potentially readjust to a situation or person or ourselves in such a way that brings us about not only a healing that we see in both of these Cups cards, these Raphael cards, but also like a mental healing, right? And with this 7th chakra Archangel Uriel card, to me, it feels like we know this week. There's like a knowing to this. There's a connected to our higher self aspect to all of this that comes in through our emotional connection and ultimately the feeling of well-being by week's end that should be transformative and quite powerful and will transition us to a hopefully better place, right? That's sort of what I'm feeling or what I get from these cards. Let's look at the grounding stone. So the grounding stone is on snowflake obsidian, and the word is energy. So we need to ground in our energy this week. We need to keep the focus on healing. We need to keep the focus on open-mindedness and willingness would be key words here, and knowing, right? Having that discussion with our higher selves or that connection with our higher selves throughout this week in the 7th chakra. Like taking our attention and placing it up in our crown for a moment every day, even when things might baffle us or when people might give us moments of pause, like stopping and going within and sort of listening to our own higher understanding or awareness, feeling that or understanding that mentally through the emotions that we may be feeling within a situation. These things are going to sort of bring us into this 2 of Cups state where not only might we be understanding a relationship outside of ourselves better, but also our relationship to the self becomes stronger, becomes more deep. Bringing in and calling in the 7th chakra Archangel Uriel energy, bringing that in and listening to our higher self a little bit. Allowing the higher self to sort of lead not only through the emotions, but also sort of training maybe our thoughts and our mind a little bit through that Page of Swords to look at things from maybe a bigger perspective, a fresher perspective, one that is balanced in emotional well-being and sort of faith in oneself, if that makes sense. The energy here is important. Our energy here this week is important. We may be resetting something is kind of the feeling that I'm getting as we move forward into the rest of the year. So this could be sort of an important point for a lot of you. So be mindful of where your energy is at, what your attention is on, where you're placing your emotions. All of that stuff is key this week. Because there is an opportunity with that 9 of Cups, even with the Page of Swords, there's an opportunity to reconfigure how we see ourselves in our world and how we relate to it. So go after that. That is your forecast for the week. We will watch the energy build each day. Please join us. Hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Should be an interesting week. Each one of you will transform in a different way around this, but it should be a blessing ultimately. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.